My mother texted me at 8:43 that night. "You're just jealous and broke. Don't ruin my evening again." No call, no explanation. Just a sentence sharp enough to slice through everything that used to hold us together. I read it twice, then set the phone down beside the stack of bills I'd paid for her that month, electric, water, mortgage, all in my name. That was the moment something inside me finally went still. 3 days later, when the restaurant lights dimmed and her credit cards failed one by one, I didn't pick up the phone. That silence, it was mine this time. I'm Ava Collins, and if you asked anyone in my family, they'd tell you I'm the responsible one. The one who remembers due dates, keeps receipts, and makes sure the lights stay on. It sounds good when you say it out loud, responsible. But somewhere along the line, responsible turned into useful, and useful turned into invisible. Growing up, my mom liked things to look perfect. Matching outfits for family photos, a clean table for Sunday dinners, and smiles that lasted just long enough for the camera flash. My little sister Chloe was the centerpiece of it all. Blonde, loud, and full of charm. Everyone loved her, especially Mom. I used to think it didn't bother me that we were just different. But even as a kid, I noticed how Mom's tone softened when she spoke to Chloe, how she called her my sunshine, and how with me she switched to, "Can you handle this for me?" By the time I was old enough to get a job handle, this meant paying for things no one talked about. Groceries that just got missed, the internet bill that slipped through the cracks, Dad's medication when insurance fell short. At first I didn't mind. I told myself it was family. Family helps family. But after a while, helping turned into habit, and habit turned into expectation. When I got my first real accounting job, Mom didn't ask how work was. She asked if I could add her to my phone plan. "Just until I figure out mine," she said. That was 4 years ago. The bill still comes to me. Then came the car insurance, the water bill, even the house payment when Dad's hours got cut. Mom said it was temporary. "You're good with money, Ava. You know how to juggle things." Every month I juggled a little more and they handed me another ball. It reached a point where my paycheck didn't feel like mine anymore. I'd get paid on Friday, and by Sunday half of it was gone auto drafts for accounts with their names on them, but my card underneath. Mom liked to brag to people about how independent we all were. She'd post family pictures and captions like, "Proud of my hardworking girls." Meanwhile, Chloe hadn't held a job in 2 years. Every time she posted a photo from some rooftop brunch, I could spot the credit card in her handmine. The thing is, I don't think they saw what they were doing. I really don't. They'd gotten so used to me fixing everything that it stopped registering as help. It was just the way things worked. Mom asked, I paid. Chloe spent, I adjusted. Dad stayed quiet. But lately, something in me had started to shift. Maybe it was turning 29 and realizing how much of my 20s I'd spent covering for other people. Maybe it was how empty my apartment felt at the end of every month, knowing I could balance everyone's life, but not live my own. The night before Mom sent that text, I'd caught her on the phone with Aunt Diane. She laughed and said, "Chloe's doing so well. Ava's fine. She's always fine." I stood in the doorway unseen, holding the folder with their unpaid cable bill. That line stayed with me. She's always fine. It wasn't praise, it was dismissal, the kind that sounds harmless until you've heard it too many times. So when her message came the next night calling me jealous and broke it, didn't sting like before. It just confirmed what I already knew. In her eyes, I wasn't a daughter. I was the system keeping her world running until the day I decided to shut it down. It happened the week of Mom's birthday. She'd picked the restaurant herself, some upscale place with linen napkins and dim lighting that made everyone look a little richer. She sent the family group text a few days before dinner at 7. Dress nice. I showed up on time, of course. I always did. Dad waved when he saw me walk in, but it was the kind of wave you give a coworker, not your kid. Chloe was already there wearing a gold dress that probably cost more than my rent. She leaned in to kiss Mom's cheek, laughing at something before I even sat down. "Look who made it," Mom said when I reached the table. "Ava, I wasn't sure you'd be able to pull yourself away from work." I smiled politely. I left on time. The waiter brought menus. Mom didn't look at hers. She'd already decided what everyone would eat. She always did. The wine came next, and the small talk started. Vacations, Chloe's new boyfriend, a neighbor's renovation. the usual performance. Then the bill arrived. That's when it always got awkward. The waiter placed the black folder neatly at the edge of the table. No one reached for it right away. Mom glanced at me, then at Chloe. So she said, swirling her wine, "Who's covering this year?" There was a pause, the kind that makes your stomach tighten. I said quietly, "I can if you need me to, but maybe someone else can take it this time." The table went still. Chloe laughed sharp and loud. You can barely afford that salad you ordered." Mom chuckled, not even looking up. "Not you, honey, you're broke." It landed like a slap. The waiter was still standing there. A couple at the next table turned their heads. My face burned, but I stayed quiet. Chloe leaned forward, smiling the way people do when they know they've drawn blood. "Don't be so serious, Ava. You're always jealous when things aren't about you." Dad cleared his throat, but Mom was still talking, telling the waiter to put it all on the usual card. My card, the one tied to their account. I watched him swipe it, knowing the charge would hit my phone within minutes. No one said thank you. They just went back to talking, and I realized this was never going to stop. Not because they couldn't help it, but because they didn't have to. When dinner ended, Mom hugged Chloe first, then turned to me. "Don't make a big deal out of money," she said softly, as if I were the one who had caused a scene. I nodded, though my hands were shaking. "Sure, Mom, whatever you say." On the way home, I stopped at a gas station. The fluorescent lights were harsh, buzzing overhead. I bought a bottle of water and stood by my car trying to breathe. My phone vibrated a text from Mom. "Don't ruin my night again. You're just jealous and broke. No period at the end. Just that." I stared at the words for a long time, watching the screen dim and fade to black. Somewhere behind me, a car engine started music thumping from its speakers. I didn't feel angry, not really, just done. When I got home, I opened the folder on my desk, the one where I kept every receipt, every bill, every login. I scrolled through the payments, utilities, mortgage, credit card, minimums, insurance. All of them in my name, all of them theirs. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like fixing anything. I closed the folder and sat in the dark until the screen on my phone lit up again, the same text, still unread, still waiting. And right then, I knew something had finally shifted. That line didn't hurt anymore. It told me what to do next. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. My apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you hear your own thoughts. For the first time in a long time, I didn't check my emails or scroll through notifications. I just sat there on the edge of my bed, thinking about that dinner, about my mom's laugh when she called me broke. I opened my laptop. The glow from the screen filled the room, and one by one, I logged into every account I managed: utilities, insurance, credit cards, mortgage. Every single one had my name listed as primary holder. Their names were just authorized users. It was all right there, black and white. I wasn't just helping them, I was carrying them. My coffee went cold as I stared at the list. Each number on that screen was a reminder of how much of my life I'd poured into theirs. I remembered Mom saying, "You're good with money, Ava. You keep us stable." I used to take that as a compliment. Now it sounded like a confession. I clicked on the phone bill first. The account had 5 lines: Mom, Dad, Chloe, her boyfriend, and me. I hovered over the button that said, "Remove user." My hand didn't shake. Click. The next screen asked, "Are you sure you want to proceed?" Yes, electricity account auto payoff, water removed payment method, mortgage changed login credentials, credit card requested account freeze due to unauthorized use. Each confirmation email that landed in my inbox felt like air coming back into my lungs. It wasn't anger anymore, it was clarity. At one point, the bank app asked me to verify my identity. The rep on the phone was polite, cheerful even. "All right, Ms. Collins, just to confirm you're the sole owner of this account?" I almost laughed. "Yes," I said. "That's kind of the problem." When the last account was locked, I sat back and looked around my apartment. The morning light had started to creep in, soft and gold. I hadn't realized how heavy everything had been until I set it down. I thought about calling Mom, telling her what I'd done. But then I remembered her voice at that restaurant, that little smirk she shared with Chloe. I didn't owe them an explanation. I picked up my phone, opened our family group chat, and scrolled past the messages, birthday plans, grocery lists, thanks Ava, followed by another request for money. I typed a message, then deleted it. No words would do it justice. Instead, I took a deep breath, opened the banking app one more time, and hit the final button, freeze all linked cards. The confirmation appeared instantly. Account successfully frozen. 5 years of holding everything together undone in 5 minutes. I closed the laptop. The room was silent again, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt mine. Outside, the city was just waking up. Somewhere my mother was probably getting ready for her day, blissfully unaware that the world she'd built on my back had just gone still. And I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. It took 3 days for the silence to break. It started on a Saturday night, Mom's belated birthday dinner, the one she'd been bragging about all week. Chloe had posted pictures of the restaurant's glowing chandeliers and captioned it, "Mom deserves the best." They didn't know yet. I was home eating leftovers on my couch when my phone buzzed once, then again. At first it was just background noise, something I'd learned to ignore. But then it started coming faster, a dozen messages in under a minute. I didn't check them right away. I knew what they were. At the same time, across town, the dinner was unfolding. I could picture it clearly. Mom in her favorite navy dress, Chloe talking too loud, Dad trying to calm everyone when things went wrong, and they did go wrong. The server came with the check, set it down gently on the table. Mom, confident as ever, handed over her card, my card. It must have taken a second for her smile to falter, then a frown. "I'm sorry," the waiter said quietly. "It's been declined." Mom blinked, confused. "That's impossible." "Try again." He did, twice. Same message. Chloe reached into her purse, pulling out her own card. Declined. The server's expression softened in that polite, uncomfortable way that people use when they're watching something fall apart. Could there be a mistake? Dad asked already, knowing there wasn't. The manager came over, speaking softly, trying not to draw attention. But in places like that, whispers move faster than sound. Heads started turning. Mom's voice rose. "There must be some mix-up. These are active accounts." When the waiter offered to bring another terminal, she snatched the receipt and muttered, "Forget it. I'll call the bank myself." That was probably when she saw the notification on her phone. Account temporarily frozen by primary holder. Primary holder. Me. By the time they left the restaurant, my phone was lighting up nonstop. Calls, texts, voicemail stacking one after another. "Ava, something's wrong with the cards. Call me right now. Did you change something?" Answer the phone. 92 missed calls. I let it ring. I washed my dishes slowly, the sound of water running over ceramic mixing with the faint buzz of my phone. I wiped the counter, made tea, and sat by the window. From my apartment, I could see the streetlights, flickering cars, passing people laughing outside bars. The world kept moving. Another voicemail came in. Mom's voice this time trembling, but still trying to sound in control. "Ava, I don't know what's going on, but all the cards are frozen. The mortgage payment bounced. The utilities, too. You need to fix this. This isn't funny." There was a pause, a shaky breath. "Please call me back." I didn't. Instead, I opened my bank app and checked the balances, everything exactly where it should be. No one could touch it now. A few hours later, Chloe texted me directly. "You've gone too far. You're making Mom look stupid." I stared at the screen and typed, "She did that herself," then deleted it. No point. Around midnight, Dad finally tried. His message was shorter. "Your mother's upset. We'll figure this out tomorrow." Tomorrow. That was always the answer. Tomorrow, they'd fix it. Tomorrow, they'd start caring. Tomorrow, I'd go back to being the one who solved everything. But there wouldn't be a tomorrow like that anymore. I turned my phone face down and sat there in the dim light of my kitchen. The kettle clicked softly as it cooled. For the first time, I didn't feel anxious waiting for their calls. I felt calm. Somewhere across the city, the house would be quiet now. No TV humming, no lights glowing. Bills would pile up and the system that kept their world spinning would finally stop. Mom once said I'd never understand what power really was. She was right. I hadn't until now. By Sunday morning, the calls had stopped. I woke up to sunlight spilling across the floor and a phone full of unread messages. I didn't open them. The quiet felt heavy at first, then strangely peaceful, like a room after the music's been turned off and your ears are still adjusting. I made coffee, sat at my small kitchen table, and scrolled through my own accounts. The numbers looked simple for once, just mine. Rent, groceries, gas, no extra names, no shared bills, no guilt. It felt almost unreal seeing my life reduced to what actually belonged to me. A voicemail popped up from Mom. I pressed play. Ava, we didn't realize how much you handled. The bank said only you can unlock the accounts. Can we please talk? We just need to pay a few things. Call me okay. Her voice cracked near the end, that familiar mix of command and desperation. I let it play twice, then deleted it. No anger, no satisfaction, just calm. Later, I went for a walk around the block. The air was cool, the kind of spring air that smells faintly of rain and new leaves. A couple walked by holding hands, laughing. A kid on a bike nearly ran into me and his mom apologized over her shoulder. I smiled and said it was fine, and I meant it. Back at my apartment, I sat by the window again, same spot as the night before. The city hummed outside, a low, steady sound that reminded me I wasn't alone, even if I felt that way sometimes. I thought about everything, the dinners, the jokes, the endless payments. The way Mom used to pat my hand and say, "You're good with money, you'll figure it out." She wasn't wrong. I did figure it out, just not the way she expected. The truth is, I didn't freeze the accounts to punish them. I did it to free myself, to finally stop proving my worth in dollars and receipts. My phone buzzed once more, another message from Mom. "We'll figure it out," she wrote this time. "I'm proud of you, even if you don't believe it." I stared at it for a moment, then locked the screen. Some doors don't need to be slammed to close. I poured another cup of coffee and looked out at the city. The light hit the buildings in that soft golden way that makes everything look cleaner, newer. They called me jealous and broke, but I'm neither. I'm just done paying the price for their comfort and finally at peace with the silence that followed. If this story hit close to home, tell me in the comments, have you ever had to draw a line with your own family? Your story matters here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next one.